If you haven't heard of Vishen Lakhiani, you must be living under a rock. He's a speaker, an author, and the man behind Mindvalley, and I'm about to meet him. So first of all, I watched you grow like a little baby with Mindvalley, and I just want to say we need to change the name of your company from Mindvalley to Mindblowing, because what you've achieved in those years is incredible. I read a little bit about your story. I know everybody knows it. You started ticking off the boxes just like me, and coming from that background of what society expects, Indian culture expects too. Good school, good university, good job, partner, kids, the mortgage. That didn't suit you or fit you, and you ended up becoming a meditation teacher, and then this spurted into where you are today.
Yeah.
Kind of, that's very short.
Right.
What I want to know is you're here at the Sharjah Entrepreneurship Festival. How do you balance being an entrepreneur, where we relate money, success, goal orientation, profit, with spirituality on an everyday life? Because some people are too far that way, the others are too far high on a spiritual way.
Well, I think being an entrepreneur is one of the most amazing ways to practice your spirituality. There's a great quote by Ken Wilber, who's one of America's foremost philosophers and one of our teachers on Mindvalley. And it comes from an essay he wrote called Egolessness. And he explains it this way. He says, all the great spiritual saints of the world, from Jesus to Moses to Padmasambhava, were not passive milquetoast. They were movers and shakers who rattled the world with the force of their ambition, from bullwhips in the temple to subduing entire continents. And what he meant by that is that what we think is spiritual is not just meditating in a cave. The spiritual teachers that we look at today were crazy ambitious. They were the entrepreneurs of yore. Jesus was a frickin' badass. Muhammad conquered countries. Paramahansa Yogananda came to America to start a spiritual revolution and wrote a best-selling book that has survived about, 80 years. All of these guys did massive, massive, massive things. They were not, in Wilber's words, feeble-minded milquetoast. And so I don't know where this idea came from, that to be spiritual means to resign from the world.
True.
But that's not actually the case.
But a lot of people do, don't they?
Yeah.
When you did meditation, I know that you've been able to achieve different states of consciousness through your meditation. Now, with me, I became a metaphysics practitioner because I went through an extreme, and I mean extreme, spiritual awakening, and I could not physically function for a while. So metaphysics was a way of me trying to understand what was going on, because no one could explain what was going on. When you shift to state of consciousness as yourself, did you ever have an extreme awakening, or was it very organic and natural for you through your meditation practices?
I don't believe you have an awakening. Yeah. It's a gradual layering on of new meaning schema of how the world operates. And a certain, what you call an awakening, is a certain graduation to a meaning schema that you are more than just your physical self.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, but it's not like you meditate and boom, you feel connected to everyone and this gospel music plays and you hear the sound, ah, and then angels blow trumpets. It doesn't work that way. It happens over time. It's a gradual awakening.
One thing I've noticed, and I do a lot of interviews with, is men. I feel like over the past few years, a lot of men are becoming more emotionally open, more spiritually open. And you started this a long time ago. How have you seen the shift in men since Mindvalley first started to today?
Mindvalley now provides education in so many different things, including fitness and muscle building, to coaching skills, to leadership skills, to building a $100 million company. But we started out in teaching mind and spirit. And so to this day, our audience is 2/3 women. Men are a little bit slower.
They are a bit slower.
in this field.
Not you, but some of them are. Now, when I studied metaphysics, the one thing I said to my teacher is, why was this never taught to me at school? I felt like it was the most, it was a foundation that every child should learn. Where do you see spirituality, consciousness, mindfulness, and self-growth fitting into the future of education for kids?
So meditation is already becoming more and more commonplace in schools. Now, but when it comes to spirituality, there are different layers of depth, right? Right at the basic layer, it's an awareness of your inner mind. That means it's teaching someone to close their eyes and go within, a transcendent practice like gratitude or compassion. But it goes all the way up to concepts like astral projection.
I've had that.
Which is being able to separate your consciousness from your body and explore the multiverse.
It's scary, Vishen, I've had it.
Only if you're untrained, it's scary. But if you are trained, then it's not a scary thing at all. So the question when it comes to when are we bringing spirituality in school really is what degree? If you're talking about the basic level, going within, that's already there. More and more schools are doing it. The question is, what are we going to be teaching kids in schools 10 years from now? Now, here's what I predict 10 years from now. Intuition is going to be commonplace in schools. We will be teaching children as young as 2 or 3 how to intuitively know things. Already in Japan, they're teaching kids intuition. So for example, if you were to attend a Japanese Shishida method class, you would see that in addition to everything else they teach, they do this little exercise with kids where they put an object under a box, and these young children have to guess what box the object is under using their intuition, right? So intuition is going to become more and more commonplace in schooling systems across the Western world, and I believe we will see that pivot within 10 years, so by 2030.
Well, I have another 100 questions, but we don't have another 100 minutes to talk about. So it's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you for coming on Soul Traveller.
Thank you.